Hey guys, welcome to today's market snapshot session. Sorry we started a bit late, but here we are. If you can hear me, just say hi in the chats. Hi Francis. Yeah, so today will be very brief. There is not a lot of news happening, so we will do a bit more technical analysis. We look at a couple of charts and then we will see what next week has in store for us. So I'll quickly go to the charts. Morning, Matilda. Morning, Francis. GKM. Morning. So I hope my screen is visible and clear as we start. Okay. So let's get on with this chart. So I'm going to look at these major pairs, mainly because of what we discussed last week. So this is going to be a continuation of what we did last week. And we said, finally, the dollar seems to be taking a rest from the strength it has had the better part of the year. And we can see that major currencies, we have this gradual change in the trend. So the trend is slowly getting to an uptrend. For example, pound here, we've started making higher highs. So that shows you that we are in an uptrend. But remember again, last week we said the markets the change might not be very drastic. It might be gradual instead. So you can see here we've made, this was the high. This was the change of character over here. So at this point, let me just point this with an arrow. At this point here, actually it's this move over here. This is where we had, I don't know if this is clear, but this is where we had the market shifting, breaking the previous high, and now we started being in an uptrend, and then we've had that move gradually like that. So this is on the daily time frame. If you move on to the H4, this is GBP USD. If you move on to H4, we have, so I'll just get rid of this arrow. We have that structure over there. So let me just mark this high again. Okay, so on H4, we have that structure. Have I marked this correctly? Let's see. Just a minute. Yeah, so it's okay. So on the hourly chart, we have something like this. The market has been making new highs, but I'll be very careful because we said it's not going to be a speedy uptrend. It's going to be gradual. So I'll be very careful with how I look at these trends. Probably I'd be waiting for news, and if there's no news, I'll strictly look at technicals for me to trade. So at the moment, we have we have this imbalance over here. So if you look at the market, usually there are these moves it tends to make slowly over time, that it tends to come back over time. So this is basically how a healthy uptrend should look like. So we have this imbalance. You remember the previous imbalance was filled and then the market went on higher. So we have this area over here that I'll be careful with. And where we are at the moment, I'd want to see if we have a clear break to the upside with prices holding above this level. That means I don't want to see something like this where we've had a small break and then quickly the market has come back. So if you have a very healthy break upwards and the prices stay above this level, then you'll know that the continuation is in best and we need to start looking for more buys. So that's that. So this is GBP USD. I don't know if anyone has questions on that. We're not looking at the news at the moment because there is not much to go over that we haven't covered previously. So I don't think it's going to be, I don't think it's going to be, things are going to be that different at the moment. So that's GBP USD. Those are the areas I'm looking at. If we have a healthy break above this level on the 4 hours, or if we start retracing, then I'll wait to see if this imbalance there can be filled. Yeah, so that's the play. Euro USD, same thing. So I'll remove this first. Nothing else is marked. I'll remove that. Yeah, so on the 4 hour, same story. We have an uptrend, yes, but does it mean we should just follow this uptrend blindly. No. So you have to wait for a healthy pullback, and wherever that might come, that's where we start looking for entry. So in this case, I have marked a few levels on the hourly, and one of the key levels I've marked is this demand area here that we had this strong push upwards. So when the market came back down, you can see that it didn't quite touch that area. So it might be a healthy point for us to look for. If at all prices come back here, that'll be an interesting place to look for buying opportunities. Otherwise, chasing this higher, if you decide to chase this higher, then you can wait for a healthy break above 95, 1.095. Speaking of which, for GBP USD, there is 1.25, which is a key level, 1.25. So prices ought to hold above that level if indeed, again, we are in an uptrend. So if I, for example, I'm in a trade and I've seen prices coming below 1.25, then chances are we're going for lows. So 1.25 is a level you should mark on GBP USD just to be careful with it. Yeah, so that's that. And then on Euro USD, at the moment, there is this level here, 1.095, which is also an area of interest, but I'm more interested in this demand area over here. If price is able to come back here and fail to go lower, so if prices fail to go lower, below this point, then it's a good area to start looking for 1.095. If it's possible for it now to bounce back healthy, 1.095. If it breaks this zone, then this is an area, this imbalance is an area that we will be watching out for. And that's why I had drawn the fib levels earlier. And to see how, you'd want to see how far or how deep the market is going to retrace on this move. So let me see here. Yeah, so there's this move here. You want to see how deep, if at all we break, if we break this region over here. So if we go lower than this region, then I would want to see that will it go to the 38%, 50 or 61%, or all the way down here. But these are the key areas I'll be looking for reversals on the chart. The 50, the 38, the 61, or the demand zone that's below here. So at each point, we'll be looking for opportunities to buy. Why is it going down? Probably because of this imbalance move over here. So that's one thing we're looking at with Euro USD and GBP USD. If you have any question, again, just ask on the chat section. Okay. Next, we have UK oil, which has been on a downwards trend. So earlier we've mentioned that for UK oil, remember before the news of the crisis in Middle East and all that, we were in a range for the better part of the year. And then when the situation in is it Israel happened, we had this push upwards, and it seems like the not excitement, but the reaction has died down, and we are finally back into this range. So we have an OPEC meeting. I know we had another one this week. Let me just check that really quick. Just a minute, we check. We had a meeting for OPEC this week also. So here it is. Let me share this. Yeah, so a minute. Yeah, so actually it was a cancelled meeting. OPEC finance ministers cancelled the meeting, which was supposed to be on Sunday. Now it's on 30th, November 30th. So there is still that state of tension in the markets. And if things are remaining the same, then this trend over here should remain the same. That means we should see the current state of affairs staying as is. That means we should anticipate a continuation of the downward trend, or at least sideways movement until the meeting. So I think it's on 30th is next week on Thursday. Yeah. So we had this sharp drop because of the news, and then it came back to the level. So you can look at it from the H1. Came back to this point over here, and it seems to be struggling. So the reason I've drawn that channel is very curious to see if we have a continuation downwards. So this is probably going to be a very interesting opportunity. If you have guys who are interested in trading this, you might want to see if the price is going to make new lows, especially onto this, covering this imbalance over here. So this might be an interesting trade going forward. Again, back on the bigger picture is we are in a downwards channel, and that might provide sellers with opportunities going forward. So we've covered GBP USD, Euro USD, UK oil, and now we can go to XAU USD. So this is the next one. So gold has been very interesting of late because we have touched 2000, but it seems we are struggling to have a healthy breakout above 2000. So anytime gold goes to 2000, seems as though we come back down. So let me just mark for you the 2000 level there. So anytime gold has managed to go up above 2000, it seems to come back down. Another thing you need to notice with gold is, if I zoom this in, we made two tops. So we made a top, we touched here and here. So here. Yeah. So we had two tops like that. But the interesting bit on the H1, we seemed to have broken or changed character like that. So the market made a new low, came back, made a new low like that, came back for this imbalance here, over here. I hope you can see it, including getting to this order block over here. Is it touched? I don't think so. So this is an interesting point to see if prices there. So that's a supply zone. So you can try and see if we can get such a reaction in the market. Yeah. On that zone. If it goes above, higher than this point, then you'd want to see, again, 2000. It has to, if it's a bullish market, it has to maintain above 2000 for some time. So if you see gold maintaining above 2000, remember initially it tried to go up, then came back down, tried to go above 2000, came back down. So 2000 is a very key level. If it goes up and stays above 2000, then chances are we'll continue being higher. But this is a point we'll be interested in for the rest of the day. So try and see how things go at that point. Hope you're clear. Alternatively, the alternative setup is this down here would be there. That could be a supply zone. So again, but the thesis is if we're going up, we have to stay above 2000 for some time. You don't want to see a situation where you're going above 2000 then immediately coming back down. That's not a good signal for buying opportunities. So I hope we are all together with that. Yeah. Let me see. Just a minute. Yeah, so I hope you're all together until there. USD CAD, another interesting play. Now here again, we are talking about a weak dollar, and a weak dollar on USD CAD is a downtrend. Remember, a weak dollar on GU and EU is an uptrend. So in this case, it's the opposite. What are we seeing at the moment? We are seeing that we are in a symmetrical triangle on the daily. That means, for those who don't like price charts or chart patterns, let me just elaborate a bit. That means every time buyers have attempted to go high, each consecutive push higher has been weaker than the previous push higher. So that can tell you that the buyers are slowly losing the strength, because every time they've tried to push it higher, the uptrend has been smaller and smaller and smaller. You can say the same for sellers, but this almost looks like this also. I can draw it like that. So it seems as though the market is favoring sellers instead of buyers. But then you'll have to wait for clear confirmation. Of course, also if you're going on the lower time frames, you have to wait for price to at least have a strong breakout lower. Then now you can start looking for opportunities, maybe imbalances along that move, something like this, so that you can confirm that we are continuing to go down. So that's one possible scenario or how it would play out. So as long as there is signs of weakness from the buyers, then chances are we might be favoring sellers going forward. But you need to see a sharp move downwards to confirm that. You don't want to see something weak like this. This might not be a good area to consider selling. Okay. The other one is AUD USD. In this case, what will an uptrend mean? An uptrend will mean a weak dollar, of course. So same story. We are finally changing the direction. And this is one thing we talked about in the report last week. In the event where the Fed indeed starts to loosen its policy, then AUD is going to be one of the first currencies that beat the dollar in terms of strengthening. Why? Because the economy is not looking so bad, and they are an exporting nation, China. So if China improves, Australia improves, then we have a better play at our hands, more so than GBP USD or Euro USD. Because remember, the Eurozone and the UK economy are not looking so great, but they will also, I think, perform better in terms of the currency strength in 2024 if the Fed loosens policy. But the best candidate for that is AUD USD at the moment. So again, this is how things are looking like. We initially broke the trend higher, and now you're looking for re-entries on this. So if at all things continue the same, I'd want to see either come back to this zone and start looking for buying opportunities, or we have a healthy breakout above this zone and we maintain that level. So if we see something like this where the market has broken, then quickly come back down, this is not a healthy breakout. We need to see the prices or the charts or the candles pushing higher and maintaining above this resistance zone. Okay. Today's session is supposed to be short. We are meeting today at Skate City. So if you are around Nairobi, I think see you at 3 o'clock. When you talk of imbalance, what exactly does that mean? Okay. Okay, so if you're around Nairobi, see you at Skate City, that's at Parklands at 3 p.m. The rest of you guys, let's meet again next week when we'll have a bit more news. So I'll just cover the imbalance question, and then we call it a session. But if you have anything, if you've missed anything from the session, just rewind this video and you see. So when you talk about an imbalance is when buyers have offered, so let's say it's a buy side, it's a sell side imbalance, buy side. Okay, let me not mix up the names. But in the market, anytime we have buyers offering prices, sellers also have to participate. So if we have a situation where it's only buyers that have managed to be present in the market, like here, where we've had two huge candles, bullish candles, then eventually prices are going to come back so that sellers are also offered opportunity to trade within this price range. And that's why every time we see a sharp move like this, what happens? The market comes back down so that both buyers and sellers are balanced, yeah, and then continues in the intended direction. Another example is here, we saw a move downwards. That means sellers were very aggressive, and then buyers also need an opportunity to buy. So the prices will come back up first before continuing lower. Yeah, so that's the whole concept of balance and imbalance. So if I look at something like GBP USD, we have a very good example here. Initially, we had prices pushing up like that. And then for some time, before we continued going higher, sellers were offered an opportunity to participate in that market. And then that's when the market continued higher. That's why I'm saying this area over here, we should be very careful. If you see prices going down, then it might be going down to this point before we have a chance to buy. Yeah, so the market might be attempting to balance itself. For more on that, on the strategies playlist on YouTube, you will see supply, demand, balance, imbalance. I think it's somewhere there. Let me have a look for you. Just a minute. Let's see. So if you go to the FX Pesa playlist under strategies. So let me share this screen. There's a very elaborate playlist of strategies. So I'm on the FX Pesa YouTube channel. Yeah, so it's this one, order blocks with and smart money. Yeah, so you can do order blocks, supply, demand, and advanced market structure. So those will fill you up in with the concepts that you're talking here, that are primarily the strategies that we use when you're analyzing the markets. Skate City, 3 o'clock. Make sure you've registered on the link, and I think we can call it a session. We are meeting financial literacy. Will be celebrating 1 million guys educated in financial literacy since 2020 at Skate City. So we'll have games, we'll have prize money, and we'll also have a chance to interact as traders at Parklands. So from 3 p.m., the registration link is in the socials. Make sure you've registered. You can just attend, and then see you there, 3 p.m. Other than that, thanks so much for attending. See you next week.